Good morning, it's Jane and her jammies. I have my University of Stirling hoodie on because it was cold last night, and I'm coming to you from my bed today, which is unusual. I'm usually up and about. So this morning I decided to stay on in bed, partly because I've got an empty kisses away to sisters, partly because I was really cold last night. And felt like I maybe had some sort of cold or something coming on. Excuse me while I have a monster cold sore coming out in the middle of my bottom lip, which is a delight, but hey ho. But I wanted to jump on and talk to you about morning routines. So my normal morning routine is I get up at 6 AM. I go to the no, not the bathroom. Sometimes I go to the bathroom, but I go to the kitchen and I get my supplements that I want to take on an empty stomach. And I will put on a pot of soup or something into the slow cooker so that I've got some healthy food cooking for at some point during the day. I then go into my infrared sauna for half an hour. After the sauna, I jump in the shower and do a rinse off the sweat first, and then I do an oil and sea salt body scrub, which is super nice for the skin, and that means that my skin is washed and moisturised in one go. I then rinse off the salt and pat myself dry, get dressed, and I'm good to go for the day. I don't need to worry about moisturisers. I'm not using potentially toxic products on my skin. I do try to get organic oil and organic salt when I'm doing that, but what I do know is the oils, even if they're not organic, haven't got petrochemicals in them because they are food oils. I either use olive oil or sesame oil on my skin, and it's super nice, super hydrating, especially at this time of year when you've got heating and stuff on. And then after I've had my shower and my sauna, I either listen to a podcast that I find educational or motivational or inspiring, or I read a book. So this morning, because I didn't get up to go for my sauna, I have started reading a book and I'm already 20% through the book. Thank you, Kindle, for that information. I think your morning routine is super important because it needs to set you up for the day ahead so that you feel fresh, you feel in a good headspace. It's a good time to be creative, it's a good time to be educated. It just sets you up for the day ahead. So the book that I have started reading this morning is called, hang on, let me check what it's called. I can't remember, that's terrible. That is terrible. The Magic of Thinking Big. And it is about having a positive mindset and not playing small, and how to overcome the blocks that we put in our way. That's kind of how I live, but there's also things that I'm benefiting from it. So I'm already highlighting stuff off, and apparently you can pull off the highlights as little reminders. So far 20% in, I've already got some good little pointers for myself. Now that it's 7:30, I'm recording this little video for y'all, and then I suppose morning routine's a bit out of sync, but that's totally fine because I've done the reading and stuff first. So when I get up, I'll go and do I'm not having a sauna this morning because I washed my hair yesterday. I'll go and have my shower and then start thinking about breakfast. So I'll normally have my breakfast, depending on what I've got going on, about 9 o'clock, maybe a bit later, because I like to do my fast. So you might have seen on my Instagram stories that I sometimes take little screenshots. So I like to follow the circadian rhythm of eating. So that's when you try and eat within daylight hours. Obviously in the winter that becomes a little bit more challenging because the sun rises later and sets later. But I still try to eat within that window, which means that I have a minimum of 13-hour fast. I do try to aim for 15 or 16 hours where possible, but minimum I go for is 13 hours, so that just means I can get lots of things done before I have my breakfast, which is super nice. Yeah, so what I want you to do is have a think about your morning routine. So if you're one of these people who rolls out of bed, rolls into your clothes, rolls out the door with coffee in your hand into the car to get to work, or on the weekends you don't set an alarm and you lounge about and laze about until whenever, I want you to have a think about how beneficial that is for you. I have my alarm set for 6 o'clock every single day of the week. The only times that I don't get up at that time is if I am sick, or basically if I'm really unwell, or I've had a really shit night's sleep. But even if I've had a really shit night's sleep, I try to still get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, because that will then kick me at the other end of the day to be tired, so that I get a better night's sleep the next night. And I also look at what I've done the day before. So I didn't get a great night's sleep last night. I ate a little bit later than I normally would. It was about 6:30 before I got my dinner. So, and I had a curry and I ate quite a lot of food. Normally I have my bigger meal during the day at lunchtime. So because that was out of sync, that then had an impact on my sleep last night. So I know this, but sometimes life happens and sometimes things don't happen in the order that is optimal for you. So ebbs and flows, get harmonious with life. So I am going to now, once I've finished recording this, get up and go and have my shower, and I've already read my book. So the rest of the day is for me, and it's amazing when you have your routine in place. People always say there's not enough time, but if you got up at the same time every day and have set things in a routine, it takes away lots of the decision making. People get decision fatigue. It's a real thing. If you take away a lot of that decision making, because this is just how things happen, you then have so much more time, and you can get up and go through your morning routine, and if it's on the weekend and you don't have anything else to do, have a nap, sit down, chill out, read a book, do whatever you want to do. When you stay in bed and have a sleep hangover, which again is another real thing, you then take ages to get back into that routine when you go back into your working week. So if you just stay with your routine every single day, it's dead easy, and your body knows what's happening, it knows what's coming, and it works much, much more efficiently and effectively, and it just keeps you on track. So think about what your morning routine is and set yourself it. And it might mean that you have to go up half an hour earlier every day, but you know what? That gives you an extra half hour. And then maybe you go to bed half an hour earlier at the other side of the day, because really, at the other side of the day, most people are just sitting watching shite on the telly. It's not productive. You might think of it as winding down time, but is it really? Does it make you feel better? Does it make you feel good? That's the questions we need to ask. So think about your morning routine. Get it efficient. Make it work for you so that you feel good about your day ahead. And get excited about life. Get excited about life, because it is great. One of the quotes I just highlighted in the book was, I want to live every day. I don't want to worry about dying, because as soon as you start not living your day, you might as well have been dead for that day. So go have an amazing, beautiful day, my lovelies. Mwah.